All right, welcome to this video. Today, I'm going to show you how to train your brain to get rich. Now, I know that's a pretty clickbaity title, but I think I figured it out. So I have a presentation for you, which I'm going to throw up here. If you don't know, my name is Brian Brewer. I'm a full-time affiliate marketer, and I help others become the same. So first, let me share my screen here and show you this presentation. So how to train your brain to get rich, right? And I think it's all about creating a positive feedback loop. So just a quick little backstory here. Right now, I'm reading this book right here, 12 Rules for Life by Jordan Peterson. Excellent book. He's a very interesting fella. If you don't know who he is, just search him on YouTube and you'll go down a rabbit hole. It's pretty interesting stuff. But in one of the rules, he talks about lobsters and agoraphobia. And just to kind of talk about why he talks about these two things. First of all, lobsters have been around for 350 million years, so longer than the dinosaurs. And they have a very simple like nervous system, essentially. So they're very easy to study, but just because it's simple doesn't mean it's completely unlike that of humans. So they can get some good insight into, for example, how the human brain works by studying lobsters. And then, of course, agoraphobia, fear of social situations. Those are, that's a fear or a phobia that can be typically set on by a series of events or a negative feedback loop. So that's really what I want to talk about today. I want to talk about feedback loops. So how does a feedback loop happen? Well, first of all, something bad happens to start this off. So for example, if we're talking about lobsters here, let's say you're the king lobster. So if you don't know, lobsters have these claws, but they're not really good at, I guess, hiding from predators from what I understand. So if someone comes to them or towards them, basically lobsters zip back into their hiding spot. And because there's a lot of lobsters in a certain area, in a feeding ground, pretty much each lobster gets his own little hiding spot. And of course, the biggest, strongest lobster gets the best spot, and he gets the choice, essentially. So what's going to happen here is sometimes there's going to be another lobster who might challenge him for that spot because he wants the best hiding spot, he wants the best home, but he also wants to be selected by all the female lobsters as well. So he comes in there and challenges them. Well, what happens a lot of the times, I guess, is the dominant lobster, they do some posturing, and if it gets bad, they go to fighting, and if it gets worse, they go to killing. But a lot of times it stops the posturing, and then the inferior lobster or the subordinate lobster kind of goes away, and the king lobster gets to keep his space, and he puffs up his chest, metaphorically speaking, and he gets all the the best ladies and stuff like that. And he continues to be the best lobster in a lot of cases. But what happens here is if this lobster, this king lobster, he gets defeated or run off by a subordinate or an inferior lobster or a challenge lobster, well, there's studies that showed like the brain of the lobster itself, the king lobster, actually starts to like deteriorate and actually kind of almost like turns to mush and reforms as a brain that will allow him to survive in his subordinate or inferior position, because a king lobster, not in the throne, so to speak, would get depressed and die. So that's kind of how it all starts, right? Like this king lobster, something bad happens to him. He gets defeated. And so what happens is he loses all his confidence, and the brain, and this works for humans too, signals weakness, right? Like if you do something and something bad happens, then you're going to have that doubt in your mind. Like say you're trying to start a business, for example, like an affiliate marketing business. Well, if you go out there and you try to start a business and you try for like months and months and months and it doesn't work, and you're going to lack the confidence, and your brain's going to signal a weakness. Like in the back of your mind, you're going to think, oh, I can't do this. So what happens is now you are less able to defend against the same bad thing, right? So like the lobster, if he's the king lobster and he's defeated, and then he goes finds another spot, and someone else comes to him, he's going to be even less likely to be able to defend himself against the next, lobster who wants to take his spot, because all this, this confidence is gone. It's just like like, or someone who's tried to start a business and failed, like that doubt is in the back of your mind. So the first time you try to start a business, you're probably actually more able to start a business than if you fail and try to start again, right? So that's pretty bad. But that's kind of the example of what a feedback loop is. And then that's kind of like a negative feedback loop. But as is life, right? If it works that way, it has to work the other way. It just has to, right? Like equilibrium, balance, right? So what does that mean? Well, that means that we can actually create a positive feedback loop. So there's a couple of different laws or rules. Pareto's distribution prices law, the 80-20 rule, I think is the most common. Basically saying, you've probably heard the 80-20 rule, something like 20% of the work gets 80% of the results. But all three of these laws essentially kind of say the same thing. And an application of those laws could mean those who have will probably get more. Like you've heard of the rich get richer. And for example, if you see a successful affiliate marketer or something like that, and you wonder, like, they can just go out there and create successful campaigns, like, how does that happen? Well, it's because they've had a lot of positive feedback loops. So if you want to be the person that gets so you can get more, you got the question is, how do we get, right? Like, that's where we have to start. We have to get so we can get more, right? And that's how we can, train our brain to become rich. So, these are pretty much non-negotiable principles. You've probably heard these many times. You give, you get, you help people, and the money will follow. This is a paraphrase quote from Zig Ziglar. You can have everything you want in life if you'll just help enough people get what they want to succeed. You must believe, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right. So it's a mindset game, and helping other people is the key to all that. So me personally, I believe you can become the person who has and gets more by establishing a positive feedback loop first. So that's what we're going to talk about in this video, right? How do you establish a positive feedback loop as an affiliate marketer so you can start seeing success, so you can get more and build on that success? Well, first of all, we all know this works. Like, if you're watching this video, hopefully you know a little bit about me. If you're watching this somewhere where you don't know a little bit about me, this is kind of the simple way to get started with affiliate marketing, and it works. You take traffic from a social media platform. I say TikTok because TikTok's hot right now. We send that over to a simple bridge page. We collect the emails. We send them from the bridge page over to an affiliate offer that pays us a high ticket commission. Some people buy right away, and that's great because we pre-frame them with the bridge page. Other people don't, so we send them emails until they buy. If they don't buy this, we send them emails to buy something else, right? Like, that's the very simple affiliate marketing model. It works. We know this works. I've made hundreds of thousands, if not more than $1 million using this very simple affiliate formula. Organic traffic, pre-frame, send them to an offer, right? Collect emails, follow up, send them to more offers. We know this works, but what happens here is, even though it's simple, as in not a whole lot of steps, sometimes we can't get all the pieces quite right when we're a beginner. I know I couldn't. It took me a long time to get all the pieces right. So what happens is, if we put this all together and it looks good and we don't start making commissions right away, that can start the negative feedback loop, and we're dead in the water at that point. Because if it didn't work the first time, now we have this negative feedback. Now we're like, now we're not as confident going in. Maybe we don't give it 100% effort because we're in the back of our mind, we're thinking, it's not going to work anyways, So, like, now we're already screwed. So what we have to do is we don't want to abandon the principles of what work, right? We know this works. We've seen it work. We've seen it work for countless folks. But if it's not working for you, we have to first establish a positive feedback loop, right? So how do we do that? Well, the first thing we got to do is we got to help someone, right? We already talked about how do we make money? Well, you give, you get, help people, and the money will follow, so on, so on, so on. So the first thing we have to do is help people. All right, but we are trying to establish a positive feedback loop here, right? So we don't want to go out there and help people and expect just to make a whole bunch of money right away. So what we got to do is we first got to go out there, find someone to help. Okay, find someone to help. And what we're going to realize is, when we help them, even if it's just a little bit, even if we, just tell them what a website is, or tell them what affiliate marketing is, whatever, if you just help someone a little bit and you kind of get the wheels turning for them, that's going to make you feel good. And that's going to be your first positive feedback. It's going to be like, okay, cool. That made me feel good. So because that made you feel good, now you're going to want to help someone again, right? Like, even if you don't, your brain's going to want you to help people again, because your brain chemistry, right? Like, you help someone that made you feel good, and your brain's going to be like, oh, remember that thing you did that made me feel good? I want you to do that again. And so subconsciously, your brain's going to say, go help someone. So you're going to go help someone again. And what's going to happen? Well, you're going to feel good again, but also you're going to start to build rapport with this person, right? And you don't have to help the same person every single time, but as you get to helping people, right, you're going to realize, like, okay, cool, now I'm building rapport. Maybe they reached out to me and said thank you or whatever. So that's going to make you feel good, and you're going to start to see the potential here, right? Because when you're building trust, you're building rapport, you're building that know, like, and trust factor. Now you're starting to think, oh, maybe there is something here. So what do? You help someone again, right? Even if you don't want to, your brain's going to say, hey, remember that thing that made you feel good and got you closer to your goal? Go do it again. So go help someone again. And guess what? You're going to help someone eventually get a small win. And you're going to start to realize, hey, you're pretty good at helping people. Well, there's a revelation, huh? Hey, I'm pretty good at helping people because I helped them get this win, right? That's going to build confidence. That's going to make you feel good in your brain. Even if you don't want to, it's going to subconsciously say, hey, remember that thing that you did that made you feel good and got you closer to your goal? Why don't you go do it again? So you're going to go help someone again. And guess what? They're going to buy something. You just made a commission, right? Now your brain's like, oh my gosh, this is validated. This works. This makes me feel good. Let's go do that thing again. That's getting us closer to our goal of financial freedom. Once again, even if you don't want to, even if you don't have the energy, even if you're like, man, I'm so busy, I don't have time to help people, your brain's going to subconsciously say, hey, go do that thing, right? So we can't control it. It's like why drug addicts are drug addicts, right? It's going to nag us until we go satisfy it. So you're going to go help someone again. And guess what? You're going to make another sale or another commission of your affiliate marker. And guess what's going to happen after that? Eventually, you're going to realize that you're pretty good at making commissions and it's game over. So that's it, guys. That's how you establish the positive feedback loop. That's how you train your brain to get rich. If you like this trading, hopefully you're already in my Facebook group. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll go ahead and link to my Facebook group so you can come on over, join 14,000 other people who want to become digital marketers, affiliate marketers, and make a whole bunch of money online. We'll see you soon.